Everybody, what's up? Here's Jonathan from Music Store, and so thrilled to be joined by two of the greatest master builders, so talented cats, Andy Hicks and Oscar McNutt. Thank you for taking the time coming over.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having
And I have this little interview, quite a little chat. Later on, some of you guys maybe have noticed, we do a live session, a live workshop with you on the stage here at the Custom Shop. But now, a little interview session, so thank you. How you guys been doing? Everything's
So I'm having a great time so far.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, maybe you guys introduce yourself for some of you, our community, maybe not quite familiar with you or not quite familiar with the master builder section of the Custom Shop from Fender. So,
Oh, sure. I'm Andy Hicks. I've been with Fender since 2009. I spent 8 years in the Gretsch Custom Shop under Steve Stern, and I've been a Fender Custom Shop master builder for 4 years now.
Yeah. I'm Austin McNutt. I've been a master builder for also about 4 years now. I've spent a lot of time building and working on guitars throughout my life. This is kind of all I've been doing since I was a teenager, working for various different companies and learning under different people throughout the years. And yeah, happy to be at the Custom Shop now.
that sounds amazing. It's so great to have you here, guys, and I'm kind of well prepared because we have a bunch of questions from our community.
Excellent.
They want to know about you, and a couple of weeks ago, I interviewed a guitar luthier in Frankfurt, and I asked him the same question at the beginning of the interview, and I also want to know from you guys, how do you get into guitar building? Not just like in Fender or so specific, just into guitar building, because I'm a guitarist, a musician, and I have more the drive to stay on stage and play music and play the guitar actually, and you guys choose the other way. Maybe you do both.
Yep.
But how do you guys get into building guitars?
I've played guitar since I was a child, and when I was a teenager and then in high school, I was interested in tinkering with my guitars and figuring out how to make like pickup changes and just do. I was also didn't want to pay for setups anymore, so I wanted to learn how to do that. And had after college, had where I had been playing music the entire time. I had a different career path that I was working towards, and not loving it the way I was hoping I was going to love it. And my wife pushed me to go back to school to learn guitar building, where actually I met Austin in school, and finished the guitar program in Hollywood, where afterwards immediately started working in the Jackson Custom Shop. So that was kind of like my path to get going from not knowing anything to foot in the door.
But it was always a sort of your
Yes.
life
Yep.
as a guitarist.
Yep.
Yeah.
And what's about you?
Yeah, guitar was always a part of my life growing up too. My parents played music. Like when I was a kid, they were out playing shows, and my dad would tinker on guitars. I remember he worked in a music store when I was real young, so there was always guitar parts. We had a room in the house where there was, telly bridges and stuff lying around. So it was just kind of around me my whole life, and I was always tinkering and figuring out how to set up and change pickups and that. Just kind of self-teaching a little bit, and then eventually went to the guitar building school where Andy said we met, and started learning how to actually do a little bit more than just tinker,
Right.
and build and learn the proper way to do things. And then just ended up working there and just continued learning, still learning today.
Yeah,
It never ends.
we talked about this before the interview. Every day you're still learning and
Yeah, always.
find some new stuff. You guys are master builders, but what does being a master builder mean to you, especially now when we come to the Fender side?
It means taking somebody's dream of a guitar and helping manifest that into a reality for them in a way that I haven't been able to do in other parts of my career, because I was part of a bigger team or a production line. And now that I'm a master builder, I oversee everything from
From scratch.
from concept on paper through wood selection processes all the way till I'm bringing it over to the shipping department myself. and making, and that experience is like the duty of the master builder to make sure that we are solely responsible for the instrument that the customer is going to get.
Most of the time, someone who's ordering one of these, it's like they've been dreaming about this or wanting to get this guitar for years and years. So it's our responsibility to, to put the time and effort in and really have a relationship with the person to make sure they get what they've been dreaming of.
It's almost like it's a fingerprint to each guitar. Like every builder could give a fingerprint, and for those guys who don't know what we're now talking about, like master build, custom shop, from paper, from sketch to the guitar, you can visit Fender dealers and go to them like, hey, I wanna order a master build guitar, and then there is a paper sheet. You can check some boxes, wood configuration whatsoever, and choose your special master builders, maybe one of these two cats. And then if you ever wanted like some weird configurations, or you have a special finish, or you like a dream guitar you always dreamed of, these guys can make it happen to you. And the next question I want to ask you is like, what was your first instrument you built, or like a crazy story? Some like you saw the sheet and said, that's weird, but I see what he or she might think of.
Yeah, there's been there's
Where do we start? We built so many guitars. Maybe with the first one you ever built. Like it's probably a special one to you personally. It don't have to be
first in general before
first
custom
in general
shop.
before custom shop. Later on, you can
Yeah,
some story.
the first thing I actually built, not a parts cast or anything.
Yes.
Like the first thing I actually built was a Telecaster, but the bottom horn was kind of like the Doug Irwin, Jerry Garcia's Tiger. 3 P90s, ebony board with no fret markers and a big Strat headstock, and gold hardware, flame top, or a quilt top actually, and a Godo wraparound bridge. And at that point, that was my dream guitar.
That was your dream.
Yeah.
How do you came up with the Telecaster and 3 P90s?
Well, I love Telecasters and I love P90s. And then I figured, why not put 3?
More is
Yeah.
more.
More, yeah.
More is more. Yeah, yeah.
If one's good.
Go big or go home, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. You answered a question of mine I would like to ask you, but now we can maybe Strat or Tele?
Strat.
Strat?
Yeah. Telly.
Tele. For me, it's Strat too. I love Telecaster, but I saw an interview of Joe Bonamassa yesterday, just a snippet on Instagram, and he said like the Swiss Army knife in guitar world is a Fender Strat.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do almost anything with a Fender Strat, but I also I really love Tellies, and
Yeah.
we have to focus on your P90 Telecaster and the Fender Strat headstock,
Yeah.
and you cut it all by yourself, or you got some machines?
A little bit of both. There's cutting it out on the bandsaw and sanding it, getting the shape just right, and yeah, a lot of handwork went into that one because I was the first time doing it from scratch. So it was a long and arduous process.
Do you still have this one?
I do, yeah. I still play it fairly often.
Yeah, you have to show me a picture later.
I will. I've got pictures on my phone.
Somebody.
My first guitar I built from scratch was when in the school that he and I went to. It was a Silver Burst Flying V, but the shape I had done up a little bit differently. I kind of wanted to look like the foils of a rocket from like a Tex Avery cartoon or something, and wound my own pickups for it and had binding on the neck. And no, I don't play it anymore. I've made better guitars since then. I still have it.
You still have it?
Yes.
Yeah. I like to see it as well as your first guitar, because I remember my first Fender was a Stratocaster, the Jimi Hendrix Monterey Strat. It's a Mexico one. I still play it. I have to refret it not 2 times. I just keep playing and playing it, and I bring it to the Luthers downstairs, and I know them all my whole life. And the one took off the neck and the body, like, just, I said, John, hi, this is my new, this is my first Fender, you know? And he, hold this one. And just doing his stuff, and I was, like, amazed by the craftsmanship from these cats. And what's one tool you can't live without when it comes to your building process, you know? That's like...
I have a couple tools that I've made by hand that I use for my fingerboard edge finishing techniques in my fret ends. There's not really a tool I've ever found that does exactly what I want it to do. I'm pretty particular about my fingerboard edges and my fretware, or not my fret finishing, because of my time in Charvel, and then I also worked with James Tyler for a long time, and he has a very particular way of doing his, and my way of doing it is a mixture of things I learned from him and from working in Charvel, and no tool I could find ever did what I wanted it to do, so I've made my own tools for my neckwear, or my neck finishing.
Like we mentioned before, it's the fingerprint thing, you know?
Right.
It's a special way you do all the neck stuff.
Yeah.
What's about you?
Not to double up on your answer, but it is a tool that I use for fretwork as well. I was trying to think, I'm like, which tool have I misplaced where I was really panicking when I couldn't find it? I was like, that one. I have this file I've had for years. I don't even remember where I got it, but it's just dulled over the years. It's got a nice dull cut to it, and I use it. That one file I use for everything on the fret end fretboards. And yeah, I've ordered similar ones, but they're all too sharp, or the cut is wrong on them. Like, I'm concerned if I lose this file, I'm gonna...
My fret file I've had since I was in school. I still use it now, and everything else feels like it's a little too coarse. It's doing too much work, and this is like a nice finishing tool.
Yeah.
That I know exactly what it's doing.
It's become part of you.
Right. Yep.
Work routine. So, to ask a question about the school you both visit, how long did it take you to finish the school? Like, is it 3 years, 2 years?
No. They had different programs. I was initially going to be in a program that was going to last a year and a half, but I did 6 months and finished the electric portion of it. And one of the instructors at the school had a connection to the Jackson Custom Shop, and was like, his fretwork is really good. We think, would you be interested in taking him on right now? And because I was offered a job immediately, I was ready to start getting my career going.
Yeah.
And I figured I would continue to learn in the custom shop anyway. So, yeah, it could have been longer, but it was, for me, it was 6 months.
Yeah, for myself, I initially did the 6 months as well, but then had a lucky situation where I was then able to work at the school immediately after. So it ended up kind of being 5 years.
As a teacher working at the school? Or?
Yeah, as a teacher assistant, and then instructing. And so it just
He was
kind
my
of...
teacher.
I attribute working there for those 5 years as just extending my tenure there as a student, kind of, just learning every day.
That sounds amazing. And your creative process in the Fender Custom Shop, when there's a customer coming to you and have a checklist, and what's the first thing you're gonna ask him to get this connection? Andy, you told me about.
Kind of just want to know what guitars he's played that he really enjoys, maybe what players he really enjoys, get a sense of who the person is as a player and just as a person. And then I'm not going to be happy finishing the conversation until I can see clearly in my mind the instrument that they want. Once I can see it,
you have the same vision as they do.
If I know that he and I or she and I have the same guitar in our mind, the rest is going to be relatively easy. It's if the idea is confusing or muddy and they're not sure, then that takes a little bit of work. But yeah, everything is about just aligning on the idea so that there's very clear understanding of what they are dreaming of, and then they can make it.
So you have to got a real vision, because you guys told me you can be overwhelmed by the options of
Yes.
wood configurations, pickup selections, and whatsoever. And I got overwhelmed too when I first looked at the sheet. And we have here at the music store. I showed you the huge custom shop and the Fender wall, and you look at all these beautiful guitars, and you can really decide, yeah, I wish I would like all combine, and but you have to really have a vision, because now how long does it take you to build the guitar? You got the vision, you have the spec sheet, and then
It can depend on the complexity of the instrument, but for the most part, it's around a 3-month process once I am actually start on. Yeah.
it could be around about like to ship over to Germany, for example, or to Europe, and it's like around about 6 to 9 months, even 1 year, for example.
Yeah.
When there's a lot to do, and you
And I have a backlog as well, so when an order is placed, I'm not starting it the next day.
right away, because you have
You're right, but once the order comes is next in line, and we have our conversation about what we're building, and the instrument is started, it's about 3-4 months, and then it will be shipped, and then it's kind of out of the process of going through traveling, and it has to do that still, but
you have to like it, even 1 year later.
yeah. Well, actually, that's a good point. I mean, that's sort of sometimes when I'm talking to somebody, and at the beginning they have this dream. They've been telling me about this guitar they've been dreaming about for years and years, and then we're going over the all the options together, and I can see the panic set in of, am I making the right choice? I'm only maybe going to ever buy one custom shop instrument, and then the options start getting changed. And my concern sometimes is this dream guitar of yours is now disappearing, and you're inventing a new thing in real time. Is this what you're going to want in a year and a half when it's delivered, or are you going to wish you had your dream guitar? And we kind of maybe have to have that conversation a little bit. But yeah, as long as there's open communication, it'll be fine. And there's also like no wrong choices.
Yeah. When it's your dream guitar, it's your dream guitar. It's all about the communication that you keep really cool.
There's a lot of worry about it. Is round lamb going to sound better or flat lamb, and which one is vintage correct? But I don't know if I like that. And just take a deep breath, and what do you like? It will be okay.
And in Germany we would say like, immer durch die Hose ab.
Yes.
Breathe through your pants. There's a possibility to actually visit you, or do a Zoom call to meet you in person and have this chat. So if you're not quite sure and want to ask you, okay, is a maple neck really influence the tone this much or whatsoever? So they can actually call you or visit you. And
typically it's a call or a Zoom call. That happens very frequently. A lot of the time, because the initial point of contact is like somebody would come to a music store and place an order, and maybe they know everything they want, but it is a simple question of like round lamb or flat lamb or what kind of dots they're looking for, and you want to get the process started. That way you can be in line, and the somebody at music store may say like, we'll pick something, but we'll mark on the order.
Yes.
Let's discuss this with the builder, and then when I get the order, it will say, let's have a conversation with this person, and it's like, we can talk about that.
Yeah, figure it all out.
Yeah.
So, like you mentioned, and when I see myself, my own journey as a guitarist, like I mentioned, I first bought a Strat, Fender Strat. It was actually my third guitar. I started as a metal player with an Ibanez from the early 90s, handle in Japan, and then I would never imagine buying a Strat. Then I bought a Strat, and I was totally in love with Strat, and then I went like from metal music. I still love Petruccian and doing the rock stuff, Nuno and whatsoever. Going slowly into blues because of my grandpa, and then by myself, like falling into country music, and then I loved the Telecaster, and I was. It's like you really have to have a vision and of your dream guitar, and really be sure that's what you want to do. And I want to ask you, is there a journey, musical journey of you guys, like, or you always loved the Telecaster, you always loved the Stratocaster, or is there?
For myself, I mentioned my parents played music growing up. They played country music, and when I was a kid, I was like, no, thank you. I do not want to hear any of that. I was a Led Zeppelin, classic rock all day, every day. And then in my early 20s, I was like, maybe that stuff they were playing wasn't so bad. And I started getting into it. And I still love classic rock and everything, but these days I kind of default to more classic country and
More classic.
yeah, hence
Like
the Telecaster.
Alan Jackson stuff, or
Well, sure, love some '90s Alan Jackson stuff, some Nashville sound like Waylon, Outlaw, and there's plenty of good new stuff as well.
and some great signature guitars, Brand Mason, signature Telecaster, and Lamb with
A great player.
It's amazing. And what do I hear?
My first guitar was a Fender Stratocaster. It had to be a Fender because when I wanted to learn, my favorite artist was Kurt Cobain, and I just I don't know if I had the an offset even available to me, but there was a Stratocaster. It was Fender, close enough.
Close enough. There's Fender written on the headstock.
Exactly, and so playing. Nirvana and Smashing Pumpkins. That was everything I was into. I loved my Strat.
The grunge stuff.
Yes, and then as I got a little bit older, I started falling in love with heavy metal bands and discovering that. I'm the oldest child. I didn't really have like somebody showing me these bands. I kind of had to discover it. So I didn't know all the heavy metal bands, but I'm learning about it, and I'm falling madly in love with heavy metal. And my friends who are into heavy metal and want to play heavy metal are like, you can't play a Strat. It has to be something with humbuckers. And so then I'm finding guitars with humbuckers, which I do like a humbucker and a Strat, but at the time it was like two humbuckers and these guitars that never felt as good as the Strat to me. And then finally I discovered Iron Maiden. And Iron Maiden proves that Strats are a heavy metal guitar.
Yes.
And so, yeah, Strats. Now, I'll do, if it's not a Strat, it's like a soloist or something. It's still the Strat feel.
Strat form,
Yeah, it's the perfect instrument.
Yeah. One of my dream guitars I had, because one of my biggest role models is Steve Lukather.
Yes.
His Music Man Luke model is like, he said, when I have to take the risk of a comparison, it's like a great hybrid of a Les Paul and a Strat. It's got the feeling of a Strat and the thickness and the tone of an Les Paul. And when you do the 5 pickup selector switch during the second or fourth position, you got the punchy Strat tones. But you always mention the Strat. It's Fender is everywhere, and that's like the essential of a tone. And one of my first like heavy metal rock bands is Iron Maiden as well. And I saw these cats on the DVD with my dad. I want to be this guy.
Yeah.
Could you tell me, because when we go back to the questions of our community, to a typical like day in your workshop, you listen to some music, with selection whatsoever. Like, what's a typical Monday morning for you, for example?
Well, it's honestly it really varies day to day. Like no 2 days really are similar, because we'll have multiple things we're working on. So we're not just maybe I'll work on something for this guitar a little bit, and then I'm waiting for something to dry over here. I'm going to work on maybe the body on this other guitar.
You work on different projects at the same time.
Yeah, we're multitasking and just keeping busy, making sure everything's getting done. It's a lot of spinning plates that we're in charge of. So yeah.
And you listen to some music or just focusing by yourself? Or
It depends what I'm
vibing
doing.
in your work.
There's definitely music getting listened to. Yeah, it depends on what I'm working on. Yeah,
Yeah.
if it's something that requires me some laser focus, maybe I won't have some music on. But a lot of times,
Some
I'll
of
have
it.
music. Yeah. I'm working here.
Can't you see?
Yeah, I think that's pretty typical. People are listening to whatever puts them in the vibe for what they're doing. So if I'm doing some, sanding, that's, I can kind of be in a groove. I'm probably listening to something Richie Blackmore's playing, like some Rainbow
Or rainbow stuff.
or something, just feeling good about it. If it's a little bit more detailed work, like some complicated wiring or some fretwork, I might have something like Heilung on or something that's a little bit kind of just getting me into like a,
Keep the mood.
right, exactly. Just kind of putting me into a zone to do that. Or if I'm like doing a heavy relic, I'll put Bull Thrower on and it's like, for this, wipe this paint off this thing violently.
So, you led me to one of another question is relic and aging. You're a fan of all the kind of stuff because we have some. Me personal, one of my next dream guitars, I quoted like this, is a really basic butterscotch Telecaster and with an flamed roasted maple neck. And don't you dare touch my body because it's look as new as possibly can get. Because I like to do the little dance by myself, and I only got 22 guitars. I said there's always one missing. That's my excuse. And there's always one missing. Then still one missing, and I'm pretty proud of it. None of these guitars, except of the '90s Ibanez, has some kind of relic stuff or innate dances. Some of these got, and I said like, oh, yeah, it was back in then this and that show, but it's all like really I polished them most of the time and keeping it clean. What's about you? Like relic aging? Do you like working on a project that requires an aging or?
I mean, I enjoy the work. I as a hobby, I really like to do model building and painting, and so some of that joy I can also put into the detail work of doing something like relicing, especially if it's a project where I'm trying to replicate wear from a historically accurate instrument. But I mean, I definitely see the points of both. I can totally respect somebody who just wants a totally clean guitar, obviously, because they want to play the instrument and they want to know every scratch or hit on it, where they'll know where that came from and it's part of their story. But I don't really see the wear, like if I'm doing relicing, as it being like trying to fake it. I don't think for the most part people who are buying a relic guitar are trying to trick somebody into thinking that they've played this instrument for 50 years or
yes.
It's more of the fingerprint thing that you were talking about. If you are getting a relic guitar from me, by the very nature of the process that I'm doing, it is a one-of-one instrument. There's not another instrument that I've done, even if it's the same exact color and spec, that looks like that. In fact, if I'm doing two for a dealer and they order two of the same guitar, I'm relicing them different because I want them to have two different, yep, exactly. And so I can totally see somebody liking the idea that this guitar, I know which builder built this just by looking at it before I even touch it. Or, and then, for me, I can see them on the internet and I remember making that one because it stands out. It's not like anything else I've ever made.
You're really proud of the work you do and each instrument. You look at this and you're like, yeah.
Yeah, I don't. If I wasn't proud of it, it wouldn't go out. That's part of what the reason they're having us put our name on the back of it is because that's our stamp that we're proud of the instrument. And if I wasn't happy with it, it wouldn't go. We would start over.
Yeah. So you give 110% on each project, and you see yourself as an artist as well as a guitar luthier builder, and
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm maybe a little too modest to like to say that. Yeah, but it is that you are probably correct. It's not just grunt work. It's detailed work. It's years and years of knowledge. It's the relationship with the customers and just understanding what the history of the instruments and everything, that it all comes together. So yeah, it's an art form for sure.
Yeah, yeah. For you, awesome.
Uh, I I like both a non-aged and a relic. For me, I find just the relics sometimes are more inviting to play. Maybe you're a little less afraid.
Yeah, because it looks so new and
Right.
yeah.
And,
I don't want to touch this.
yeah. Maybe I should. I got buttons on my shirt. Maybe I won't play this one. That's just an aspect I find with the relic stuff. It's like it's sitting there. It wants you to pick it up and play it.
It's like more of you do aging stuff than like the clean
Most orders are
stand-up models.
yeah, most orders that we receive are for some level of aging.
You also receive like from people who want to have an exact reissue of a certain guitar, like somebody shows you a picture or maybe bring in a 63 Strat rerun and show you guys and say like, I want to have this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did it happen to you?
Yep.
Yeah.
That definitely happens. Some dream guitars are something that hasn't existed before, but maybe it could have existed.
Yeah.
So we make those. Lots of dream guitars are, my dad had this 62 Strat in this color, and here's a photo of him playing it, and this is what it looked like, and this is how I remember it, and I want that very guitar again. And it's going to, we're not going to change any specs from how it was in 1962, and that's what he wants.
And how difficult is it for you to build like an exact guitar or just from a picture? You know, when they show you the guitar in person, you can take a closer look, measure something, and then it's, in my understanding, I think easier. Still,
yeah, because there's more to reference, so it depends on the photo. If there's lots of photos, then it's the same. It's just as easy. If there are fewer photos, then it's a little. Some of it will be with like if there's checking or paint missing on the front in this photo, and then I don't even have a photo of the back. I kind of have to guess what would it have been like in the back. But maybe we'll have that conversation if the person remembers, or if not, I'll suggest to them what I would do, and if they're happy with that, we'll do that. Or if they go, I don't actually think it was like that, we'll make sure we land on something on the board and it gets done. Yeah.
Like you always mentioned, when it's come to building a master build or a custom shop guitar, it's all about communication.
Right.
Like I asked you, you're really proud of each instrument you ever built, and we're really lucky. And I see this beauty over there.
Oh, yeah.
You actually bring one over you
build,
and if you like.
Oh, yeah, please. So this is a kind of a good example of being able to take the idea of a guitar that maybe you had seen growing up, somebody you knew growing up, but you don't have access to this anymore, and it's not a typical instrument, but this is a 1954 reissue that I did for the 70th anniversary, but it's in this color that you wouldn't expect. It's an aged Daphne blue. It's based on a guitar that actually exists that was built in at Fender in December of 1954. The original receipt for it said custom blue. They didn't even call it Daphne blue at the time. They were doing several custom.
They only did like the 2-color sunburst thing and then Fiesta red some stuff because of the
mostly the two colors. Every now and then they would do some custom colors. A guitar very similar to this was created in December of 1954, and I've seen it so many times online that I wanted to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Strat by making one. So this is a great example of something that maybe you've seen and you want to figure out, is that possible to make? Yes.
Yeah. And can I ask you, how do you achieve on the pickguard the scratches and do like the relic stuff? if you can.
We'll have to tell you in secret later.
And it's later.
Everybody has their own methods for doing it. It comes from just years of experimenting and figuring out what works for you. But yeah, it is one of our each master builder kind of keeps that a little bit to themselves. But we're for an instrument like this, I'm shooting for authenticity. In fact, the relicing on it is even something you might not find in the design guide, because the hardware is relic to heavy relic almost, but the body wear is more like a journeyman.
You mentioned heavy relic. We have you have different stages of relicing with
Yes,
that. Like
yes.
the
Right.
untouched thing.
Yep.
I like, and you got from untouched to really heavy relic,
Right.
throwing away in the parking lot and do all this.
Exactly. You could. Yes, that's how I do. I attach a bunch of guitars to my car, I drive home, and then the next day they're ready to ship to you.
It's always the instant.
Yeah, it's everything from brand new, as shiny as possible, all the way to there's almost no paint on the guitar anymore.
Everything in Gallica
Exactly.
signature.
So, and then we have like custom agings, as I did for this one, based on a real instrument. Journeyman, closet classic-ish body, heavy relic parts, and then kind of like a regular relic neck, but very worn on the back. And yeah,
It looks absolutely stunning.
thank you. Yeah, I like this one a lot. I'm glad it's here for you.
I got my credit card with me. Don't say that. Is there a highlight you ever built, like for you?
A highlight?
A highlight, like
Yeah.
somebody came in with a model. You think, oh, I wish I had this one, or like just you are the guys who've been overwhelmed by the guitar.
Well, for me, the Jerry Garcia Alligator, getting to do that was like, talk about someone bringing in something for you to reference. That one was pretty special, and that's I still really love that guitar. It's
You talked about this in an interview with Premier Guitar, and I saw the smile on your face and the facial expression. I was like, oh, I asked him the same question for our community, but I really know the answer.
Yeah.
So, and you were involved in the building process for the Gretsch for Malcolm. Yeah.
Oh yes, so that was for my Gretsch portion of my career. That's definitely the standout instrument. Getting to work on that famous, incredible instrument was really cool. There was a little bit of detective work in that, because unfortunately, when we were in the building process, is when Malcolm had passed, and there were some health issues with other people who were involved in the project, and we were no longer able to actually get the instrument, but we had some incredible photographs and measurements taken prior to that, and then contacting various luthiers and shops in Melbourne who had seen the actual guitar and had additional photos that we had missed and needed. We were able to get all that information and find weird things like strange capacitors that had ended up in the guitar that didn't even exist anymore. I had to then hunt down who might have some of these in their garage that could sell them to us, and we could make the instrument as accurate as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I told you, I mentioned, I met him a few weeks ago. He played in Düsseldorf with AC/DC. Stevie Young, who played, he rocked the shit out of his guitar, and it sounds amazing, and it was a fantastic show.
It's an incredible instrument. Yeah, they're great.
If I knew at this time I would meet you guys, I would say hi and send you a picture, or
That would be great.
we can do it another time.
Yeah.
So I think we're really toast right here, and I'm
Great.
so thankful for you guys having this amazing chat and take a closer look on what's like building master built guitar, and for you especially get to know you, and our community gets to know you. Maybe there's a cat out there, a guitarist, who found his builder and is thinking like, I can really connect with one of you guys. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
thanks for having us.
I think it's a long way, but
Yeah.
I just think it's,
And I look forward to seeing everybody tonight in the shop.
I hope as well. So
Yep.
I hope you enjoyed the video, and I think we're toast.
Great.
Great.
Thank you.
Bye bye.